I threw an asshole's phone at a concert and I'm not sorry. My wife and I were at a heavy metal show having a good time. It's her favorite band, and she decides she wants to try moshing. She's wearing a top that she's worried about her boobs coming out of in the excitement. I reassure her that it's dark. If it happens, fuck it, just have fun. Almost immediately, this guy who's about 5'10, 250 pounds plus, and built stops moshing and pulls out his phone and starts recording with his flashlight on. My first reaction is, what the actual fuck? Then I look closer and noticed he is zoomed in on my wife in the pit, camera trained on her. I wanted to be sure I wasn't crazy, and after about 4 loops of my wife running circles, and he still hasn't taken the camera off of her. I'm absolutely no match for this guy at 6'2", 160, but my blood is boiling. I yell at him, "Hey, asshole, that's my wife." He barely looks at me and says, "So?" In that moment, I merely intended to knock his phone to the floor, but the adrenaline rush got the better of me, and I slapped his phone so hard out of his hands the phone flew across the venue, completely out of sight. Then I got in his face and shoved him and said, "So you're being a fucking creep and recording my wife?" He replied with a, "So fucking what?" and shoved me hard enough to knock me into 2 guys behind me who quickly picked me up, but even then, he was in my face by the time I got back up. I shoved him back and yelled again, "That's my fucking wife, asshole!" This man starts to swing, and out of nowhere, 4 random dudes come out of nowhere and restrain him. One says to me, "Don't worry about this guy, we'll handle him," and pull him into the crowd. I don't know how much of the interaction those guys saw, but I didn't see that guy again for the rest of the night. I get so much joy thinking about that guy finding his phone and seeing his video of my wife in a mosh pit for 20 seconds, then being yeeted across the room and starting at the ceiling for the rest of recording. Edit, for the creep defenders, my wife was wearing a tank top. Regardless of what a woman is wearing, you shouldn't record them without consent. For the Reddit lawyers, of course I'm in the legal wrong. Legal doesn't always mean moral, and I'd fucking do it again. Filming women without consent for your own pleasure, even in public, is fucking gross. Not a one of you has mentioned that some states have clauses against recording for the purposes of sexualization or self-gratification. And if you think that it comes down to expectation of privacy, it's not that black and white. While you have no expectation that no one will see you have a wardrobe malfunction, you do have a reasonable expectation that someone isn't going to follow you around with a camera waiting for it to happen. Get educated before you give your keyboard warrior legal advice. Edit 2. Didn't expect this to blow up, but wow. I applaud those of you who respect women and understand that filming a woman in public without consent is wrong, even if it is technically legal. To those of you making the assumption, my wife is just a hussy trying to show off her goods or needs to put on more clothes, you clearly have no respect for women. You just think of them as objects and makes you just as gross as the creep in this story.